host of Do It in the Dark, a podcast on introspection and accountability. Today I want to talk to you about the 5 things you must do before you start your company. All right, so everything I've already detailed on the board for you has to do with your research that you got to do before you start your company. Let's get into it. Number 1, benchmarking. Benchmarking is a tool used by business professionals that before you launch your company, you want to do your research and your due diligence in that industry and on your competition that's in that industry of business. There are 3 areas of benchmarking I want you to pay attention to. When you do your research, you want to look up process benchmarking, procedural benchmarking, and then strategic benchmarking. Those 3 things will align you to have a good indication of what the industry standard is and what your competition is doing well and what they struggle with. Now you can align your business to make sure that you can compete in that industry. The second thing is name selection and your logo. Name selection and your logo. That is important because you want to make sure that you are delivering what you want to the people by how you want them to see you, how you want them to receive you. And it's important also because if you work in the service industry like I do, most clients are given a list of providers and it's in alphabetical order. So my companies that I'm in partnership with, they all have the A at the beginning of their name. That's a little, technique that we've learned in marketing to make sure that your company is always in the top tier of a list for providers. Next thing is going to be EIN and LLC versus corporation. These are 2 separate things, but they go hand in hand. So if you are a sole proprietor, if you're opening a company, starting a business from scratch and it's just you, technically you do not need an EIN number to get started. However, if you are going to scale and position yourself to have a staff soon, or have anybody that's working under you, you want to make sure that you have an EIN so that you can scale yourself for employment purposes and growth. LLC or corporation. It is a huge preference of people to put an LLC behind their name, but keep in mind, LLC has no bearing when the IRS are collecting taxes. You still will have to identify your company as either partnership, S Corp, some type of corporation from a tax perspective. So make sure you do your research on that before you put that as the tag or the emphasis as a part of your business name. Number 4, identify your target audience. Who are you going to be selling to or providing a service to? It is your job to research, and you'll find out when you go back up to this part and doing the benchmarking, you will identify what the target audience, their main complaint is, and what their areas of need are. And it's your job to tailor your company, your brand, or your product to make sure that you can fit that need for your client base. And number 5, sales versus service. I listen to a lot of YouTubers and I listen to a lot of people who are in business and they emphasize sales, and closing the deal. It's your job as a company or a new brand to identify, are you actually selling the product, right? Or are you in the service business? If it is sales, then it's your job to understand and research how to close deals and how to generate leads. But if you're in the service business like I am, it's all about how do we get ourselves in the community to educate. All right, there's a difference between deals and education. So sales is about closing deals and service is about educating your client base. These are the 5 tips that I want to give you guys before you start your company. If I had known this, I would have been a lot more successful a lot sooner. But everybody, through trial and error, you will eventually get there. All right. Again, my name is Lavelle Hewitt, and I'm the host of Do It in the Dark.